I'm going to scroll through a bunch of used Tesla deals, and I'm going to tell you if it's actually a deal or if it's not a deal. There are three examples I'm going to go over right here of used Teslas that are available online for sale right now. The three things I'm going to look for to determine if this is actually a deal or not. First, I'm going to look at terminology. Second, I'm going to look at if it talks about battery range at all, and if it talks about what the range today is, because those are two very different numbers. And then thirdly, I'm going to look at the price and analyze how fair that is versus market value, and I'm going to show you a couple ways of understanding that. First, we have here this 2019 Tesla Model S Standard Range Plus. Now, I want to start by looking at some terminology. This looks like it is correctly rated to be an electric vehicle. It says it has an automatic transmission, which technically is not something that you would sell with a Tesla. It's not really a selling point, so possibly a red flag with that, but let's keep moving on. I'm not seeing any. Here we go. Here's some more details. This was purchased new in August of 2019. This already is a huge plus for this listing. If the seller is willing to tell you the month and the year that the car was sold, this helps you narrow down exactly what features are likely to be included with that car. Because Tesla doesn't do year-over-year upgrades on their vehicles, they kind of just release it randomly whenever the new tech is ready. This is greatly helpful, so props to the seller here. And it does say also that this includes the full self-driving package. So it sounds like the seller knows a little bit about what they're selling here. There is a problem with the description. Next, though, it talks about scuffs and dings taken out by a Ferrari dealer. And going through the photos real fast, it looks like there are zero details of those scuffs and dings. Now, scuffs and dings can happen just from driving, or it could happen from a collision. I would want to know a lot more detail about exactly what happened. I would want to see an inspection of the car. Maybe the Ferrari dealer had someone who wasn't working their best that day and they missed a few of them. That could greatly lower the value of the car, and it's not very well discussed here. So we have at least one red flag so far, but not too bad. Let's move on to the second item, which is the battery range. And unfortunately, there's nothing here about battery range. I know from experience that the 2019 Tesla Model 3 Standard Range Plus is rated to get 240 miles on a full charge. Now that's what it is at brand new. This car here has 23,000 miles. There are two things to note about that. First of all, it's been driven a bit, so it's possible the battery doesn't get the same rated range. Secondly, 23,000 miles in 1 year is a lot. And that means if the average American drives about 12,000 miles a year, this guy has driven probably a lot of road trips, probably a lot of supercharging. The more you supercharge a Tesla, the faster the battery degrades. Not a lot, but it could be that instead of getting 240 miles today, this car only gets 210 miles, let's say. So I would really want to know more about the battery. I'd probably need to contact the seller and say, hey, can you send me a photo of how many miles the car gets when it's fully charged? And that would help me understand a little bit better about the value of the car. But lastly, let's talk about the price. And this is listed for $43,000. Now, one of the cool things you can do, and it's an easy resource available to you online when you're looking at used cars, especially used Model 3s, you can go over to kellybluebook.com, kbb.com. I've already taken the liberty of punching in the car's info here. The car's value, if you were going to sell it privately, according to Kelley Blue Book, is right around the range of $37,000 to $41,000. Now, I was expecting right around 40 to 41,000. This car is listed for 43,000. So based on this one number, I'm going to have to say that this is not a good deal. And the reason I say it is just because it's overpriced. Now, there are a couple other things if I decided the price was good enough that I would need to follow up on and get some more details about. If someone lists a car overpriced of what fair market value is, that often means that they're not in an immediate rush to sell it. And you can see that this actually was listed 12 weeks ago. Something you'll find about Model 3s and any used Teslas is they're usually very popular for selling right away, unless they're overpriced. So this owner probably just isn't in a rush to get rid of his car, and that's totally okay. Let's move on. This is a 2018 Model S 75D black paint, and they're asking $66,000 for it. So let's start with terminology. It looks like this does have base Autopilot and full self-driving and hardware 3.0. That's a huge plus that they talk about exactly the hardware and Autopilot software in the car right away. Condition excellent. So if a car is listed as being in excellent condition, that usually means that it has 100 miles or less on it. Sometimes there are exceptions, but please do not list a car as excellent condition with 35,000 miles on it unless you have some details about the paint protection film or about the restorative work you've had done to it. If there are details explaining why, then sure, but please, this is not very likely not going to be in excellent condition. It's got some decent photos here. It's got photos of the interior. This is really good. It actually does look really clean on the inside. This has the old textured seats, which Tesla discontinued a couple years ago. And here we go. Here's a photo of the full self-driving capability, which is excellent that they include this. If you're looking at a used Tesla, that includes a photo of their software screen, and it shows proof of whatever packages are included with the car. This is probably a trustworthy listing. But let's keep going. Next, we're going to talk about the range at full charge, which unfortunately is not listed here at all. If the gentleman took a photo of the software screen, he also could have taken a moment to take a photo of the screen behind the steering wheel, which would have shown what the mileage gets on a full charge. I know from experience that the 75D Model S gets 259 miles on a full charge. This also has 35,000 miles over 2 years of ownership, which again is a lot of driving. That's 17,500 miles a year. It's probably been supercharged a lot in that time. So I would really want to know how many miles it gets on a full charge right now. And lastly, let's analyze the price. Something that helps a lot too, I talked about Kelley Blue Book before, I'm going to talk about a different resource here. Something that helps a lot is build out the exact same car, what it's worth today. And if we go to Tesla's website, I've already done that. This is the Model S Long Range Plus, the least expensive they sell. All standard except for the black paint and the full self-driving, $84,500. As opposed to a 2 years old car being asked to sell for $66,000. The newest Model S today starts at $75,000 and it gets a whopping 402 miles on a full charge, which is incredible. This right here, at best, will get 259 miles, but likely it gets a little bit less now. Understanding that you would be purchasing this as a used car, likely already one owner. Does it say more than one owner? Looks like it doesn't say. So possibly more than one owner, as opposed to buying a brand new one for $75,000 with, of course, full self-driving being optional later. You can always add that to your car after you buy it. I would have to say that this is too expensive for what a new Model S costs today. And that's okay. Honestly, it is something that you'll come across a lot with Model S's. Tesla has dramatically decreased the prices of their cars over time. This probably sold for a lot more when it was brand new. And it looks like they do actually have the Monroney sticker here, which is excellent. This sold, okay, for $75,700 when it was brand new. So at the time, this was the least expensive Model S. This had no upgrades on it. It was just standard Model S. So the standard Model S today has got another extra 150 miles on it, and it's right around the same price. So this gentleman, unfortunately, probably would need to list it for a little bit less expensive if he wants to sell it soon. But this is going to get a no from me. This is not a great deal. Let's move on. Okay, here we have a Craigslist listing. This is a 2016 Tesla Model S 90D, and this is for $28,500. There are very few details about this, but let's start with number one, terminology. Let's see, it looks like there is zero terminology whatsoever. They are listing it as excellent, and how many miles? It's 69,000 miles. Please, this is not excellent. Something that you can do is if you don't really trust that this is rated as an excellent car and you want to know more details, you can ask the seller to get on a video chat with you, or a FaceTime call or a Skype call or a Zoom call or something over the phone, and ask them, hey, can I have you do an inspection with me around the car? And you can do it for 5 minutes. It doesn't have to be super awkward or uncomfortable, but it will give you the information you're looking for. And you can ask them, move in close, let me see the condition of the paint, let me see the condition of the wheels, let me see some close-ups of the wheels. I just want to know a lot more detail about the condition of this car. And any seller should say, absolutely, that's totally fine. So I would absolutely need to start there just because there's no terminology on this listing. There's very little information. Let's move on to range. Again, no details. However, I do know that the Model S 90D is rated for 294 miles on a full charge. Now, this was a 2016. Autopilot for Tesla was introduced in 2014, so it's totally possible that it has autopilot. It's possible that it doesn't. Again, just not enough info. So we need to talk to the seller, would need to find out a lot more about this car. But lastly, let's talk about the price real fast. This is fascinating because 28,500 is an excellent price for a 2016 Model S. And the gentleman even talks about this being a clean title, clean Carfax, never in any accidents. This is the second owner already, so it's been owned more than once. Well kept and maintained. I would still want to know what the car gets on a full charge today, because 69,000 miles in 4 years of ownership is a lot of driving again. But it's not the end of the world if the battery still gets a decent amount of range. So all in all, I'm actually going to give this one a thumbs up because the price is really, really good for a Tesla Model S. And this is hopefully to give you an idea of exactly what I offer through Electric Auto Squad. If you have a used car you're looking at, or if you want help looking for a used car, please send me an email at hello@electricautosquad.com. So I hope this helps you a little bit understanding used Teslas. Let me know in the comments below if you agree or disagree with any of my comments, and let me know if you would like some help. Also, all of these options were sent in via email, so if you'd like to contact me, my email is in the description, and I do help people who are looking for a Tesla. So, hope to hear from you. Stay safe.